custom live streaming service. This is my new normal with Alli Ramirez. I was trying something new. Ladies and gentlemen, good evening, good night, good morning, good afternoon, wherever you are. Uh, this is my new normal with Alli Ramirez. I'm Alli Ramirez, and this is my new normal. It's a show where you can be the guest. I'd love to hear from you, or if you want, you can just listen to me talk. But if you want to interact, I'm here for that. And if time has gone by and the ads have already played, hi, welcome to my new normal with Alli Ramirez. Let me try something different. Nope. Welcome to my new normal with Alli Ramirez. I'm Alli Ramirez. This is my new normal, which apparently has to do with me talking to my computer in my house on the Twitch channel in 2020. So that's my new normal. I'm trying to get my set up. Ooh. So I just clicked onto the Twitch channel so that I can see the chat in case anyone does want to come on, which I would appreciate. And if not, that's okay too. I'm actually, hi, I'm Alli Ramirez, my new normal. If you're still around, this is what's going on. I was able to listen to a Zoom meeting because I feel like because of COVID and because everybody is obviously refiguring out their life and their structure and how to give information. There's been a lot of opportunities where talent managers and agents and comedians have been doing these Zoom meetings for free. Some of them, I know some have also cost money, where they want to share information in a way that basically what I'm saying is there are people who are giving more access than they did prior to 2020. So a few of the ones I've listened to, I haven't paid for anything yet. That's not true. I did take a pilot writing class here at the Pack Theater, which was fabulous. But so I went in on a Zoom that was with two, I don't think they were talent agents. I think they were managers, but they were managers specifically for comedians. So anyone who was invited, it was an open forum, anyone can ask questions. And so I kind of got to listen to what these two managers had for advice for comedians who are obviously struggling if your main income is touring and doing comedy. And so what was really interesting is these business managers both said, it's important to do the reps and to be on stage and to obviously hone your craft. But because right now, stages aren't open or they're not in the same venues, right? Or they're outdoors, they're through Zoom, that a comedian, an actor, a performer, a writer still needs to experience life. Like if your whole life is on stage, then what are you commenting about if you're just on stage? And I feel, and the managers didn't name any names, but I feel like that's what happens sometimes with comedians who get to a point. For example, I really like the comedian Kevin Hart. I've seen most of his specials. I haven't seen, I think, the last one, and I know he's coming out with a new one, which looks great. But in his earlier ones, obviously he's talking about his wife and his children and being a father, and obviously and be trying to become a comedian, versus now when he's done movies and he's best friends with The Rock. And not that it isn't funny, it's just not as relatable because I'm not a big movie star. However, I am a parent. And so I feel, and this is just my opinion, agreeing with what that manager said is, even though we're sketch artists or writers or performers or comedians, we still have to live our life and experience life in order to comment on it and then perform that to an audience and have that relationship of something we have in common. So he just made a point that even though there are no stages, it doesn't mean that you're not working per se. You're still living your life, you're still experiencing, and it's important to keep taking notes, keep writing jokes, keep, you know, it's not just like it doesn't, even though it feels like a standstill, there are still things you can do to keep your mind going, your creativity. So I don't know why I dove into that role. Actually, I do know why. I dove into that because I feel like anything else right now, we're all trying to find, we're like that rose. We're like, you know, Tupac was like, I'm the rose to the cement. I'm, I know nothing of rap. I'm very bad with rap. Musical theater, but rap is I'm very far far of my knowledge. So by all means, but I know that Tupac has a something about a rose growing through the concrete, pushing through, right? Beauty through this industrial hardness. And the reason I thought about it and wanted to say that is because I feel like for me and for this show, it seems like a very simple, trivial thing to just come on Thursdays and talk to myself or whoever is on. But I do want it to be more than that. And so for in order to do that, I have to put in the work and put in the time and constantly promote myself, which is something that I've always felt very withheld back to do. And you have to be bold. And I know not everyone is at a place right now where they can be bold or they can be as creative as they once were, because obviously there are so many different stresses. I mean, just like we were saying last week, if you're listening last week, you know, we had an election that caused a lot of stress to a lot of people, regardless of how the outcome has come. It's still very heavy. So I guess I'm not just talking to myself right now when I say that it's okay to promote yourself. It's okay to take breaks. It's okay to deal with 2020, however you're dealing with it. Um, yeah, I don't have a huge long show today. I definitely want to get a couple things off my chest, and then that would be it. And this will be a shorter episode. But I know that I want to I know where I want to take this idea, which just seems like me being online talking to myself or a handful of people. But I really do want to make my new normal a place where anyone can log on and tell me what you're feeling and tell me what you're going through. I'm not a therapist by any means, but I am a good listener, and I can tell you maybe not 100% what you want to hear, but I can definitely tell you, I'm going to tell you that what you're feeling is right. And what you're feeling is normal. And maybe we can laugh a little bit through it. Um, yeah, I'm just another ear in a world full of other ears. And I love the Pack Theater. That's why I decided to take classes at the Pack Theater. I was amazed by all the different sketches and different comedy shows and the extreme bold moves that the Pack Theater performers were making. And that's why I decided to take class there. Um, gosh, so I guess let's start at the beginning. I did the live in North Hollywood thing, and I did UCB. I did all four stages and classes and sketch. And at the time, they didn't have a grading system. I think you just pass through. I don't remember ever having to audition or be held back. But this is when UCB was just the UCB. There was no UCB Sunset. It was just Franklin. It wasn't even UCB Franklin. It was just UCB. So it was a much smaller operation. And I went there and met incredible people that I'm still friends with. And from there, I really tried to be an actor, really tried. Well, maybe not really tried. Maybe I thought I was really trying, but I wasn't fully, um, I wasn't fully maxing out my time. I wasn't putting in the full effort and seeing acting as a business. the way that I know other people were or have and are. So I did that, and then, it wasn't working out. I wasn't hitting marks. I wasn't casting. I wasn't banking. And so then I shift my gears, and I uh life happened, and day jobs became jobs, and I took a break. I took a break essentially, and after because I was doing sketch comedy about, I think, a month before I got pregnant. And then I became pregnant. And even when I was pregnant, I did a couple things, not too much, because I was a high risk pregnancy. It's just because I have a smaller frame, and move my hair back there because I had a smaller frame, and I had twins. So high risk. So I wasn't really allowed to drive or walk, or I was, I was on bed rest for a long time, for like 3 months, and it was not fun. It was my least fun moment ever. But I was sacrificing my body essentially for my two little nuggets. So after the babies were born, I had to deal with newborns, and if you don't know this, newborns suck. They just do. I mean, they're wonderful, and of course parents love them, but newborns suck. They're very inconsiderate, they're very selfish, they don't care. Sometimes they don't even care who you are. Like, they'll just cry, and they're not necessarily caring, like, oh, they're not like crying for mom, they're just crying. They'll take anyone to pick them up. So it really really makes you feel special when you haven't slept for 3 days, and you're like, oh wow, you're not even happy to see me. You don't even care, you just need this milk, the milk. But I digress. My kids were probably, they might have been a year, maybe a year and a half, when I started kind of going back and watching sketch shows, and that's when I'd known about the pack for a while. Um, I had a couple of friends, people who I'd done sketch with, who had made house teams at the pack, and this was, oh god, so is it 2018. And so I was getting restless at home. I didn't have that creative outlet. I've been performing since high school. I performed in high school, and then college, and community theaters, and then, like I said, the UCBs. And I was very, very fortunate that a few of the jobs that I had in my early 20s was paying performing gigs. I was a princess at medieval times. Yes, it was a beautiful job. It's one of my favorites. I had a crown and a dress, and I'd greet the guests and take photos, and it was so much fun. I also worked for Kaiser Permanente's Educational Theater. It's still a company that tours Southern California and do assemblies for kids. I did that for a couple of years. But I was very fortunate that I was getting paid to be on stage and perform in different capacities. So I'm saying is I've been performing since I was like 16, and not like in a snobby way, just like I've always had that creative outlook. So when I didn't have that creative outlook, it started to really weigh on me. So about 2017 is when I started at the Pack Theater. I took Sketch 101 with Eric Moneypenny, and I'd taken Sketch 101 at UCB years prior, and in hindsight, I was terrible. My sketches were a mess, just a mess. They were. I never saw myself as a writer. I always was like, I'm an actor, I'm an actor, I'm an actor. Which is not giving credit to myself, nor is it when you tell yourself that you're just something, you're just this and not this, it's like you mentally close yourself off from even looking at this. So I closed myself off that I wasn't a writer, right? I wasn't a sketch writer. I was an actor who wrote sometimes. Maybe I wrote a character. Maybe I wrote like a little dumb thing, but I never fully accepted that word. So then I took Sketch 101 with Eric Moneypenny, and I missed one class. It haunts me to this day. I missed the class where you have to write basically a featured character. Like if you were in Saturday Night Live, you would write yourself a character that would be featured, like a Debbie Downer. And it still haunts me to this day. I might just write one, send it to him, have Eric create it. So I took the class and I loved it, and I felt more confident than I ever had, because it did come with experience in terms of characters, in terms of what I knew comedy was, but I was missing the structure. And so the class was set up in such a way where this was the structure, right? This is the structure. You hit the structure. And then once you obviously know the structure, you can deconstruct it. But I left that class feeling great. And in order to audition, so this was like in the spring. I guess this was in the spring. Oh, I really did math. Yeah, it must have been 2017. Yeah, 2017. So if I had taken 201 in the fall, I could be eligible to audition for a sketch team that year for going into 2018. So I remember talking to my husband about it. And when my husband met me, I was doing sketch. I was on an independent sketch team called Monster Party. I was still auditioning. I definitely didn't know how to cook a chicken. I was living in a studio apartment with a dog and living the Burbank life. So he knew who I was when he met me. And I don't think he and I ever thought that it would go away. Like this feeling to perform or create or want to make people laugh or make yourself laugh. So I remember talking to him and being like, well, it's, if I make a team, I mean, I don't know. I'm rusty. It'd be a 1 week commitment, maybe 2 nights a week. There's a monthly show, and we'll figure it out. We'll figure it out. So I took sketch 201. I love, by the way, how this has turned into the story of the Pack Theater. The Pack Theater and me, Alli Ramirez, in the Pack Theater. I'm just sharing my experience if you haven't yourself experienced the Pack Theater. So that time, I took sketch 201 with Sam Brown, which was also an amazing experience. And again, challenging, learning structure. But I felt more confident, and I was really enjoying what I was bringing to the table. I didn't feel so lost. I felt like the assignments were clear, and I felt that I could achieve them. Notes, of course, no one's writing a perfect draft in one. So, and then I remember I auditioned, and I was very nervous, and I remember I remember thinking, oh, it's because I think it was a minute, or maybe like a minute 15, or there was a very hard time, and it was very clear that like they were going to cut you off that time, so make sure you tested it. And I remember I ran through it once, like just like in my office at work. There was no one at work, and I just ran through it at the office, and I timed it, and I was like, oh god, I'm like three minutes, I'm terrible, I'm so behind. And I was really scared and really nervous, because to me it was a really big turning point on where I was going to focus. Because even if I didn't make the house team, spoiler, I did. But if I didn't, I still wanted to be able to perform, or maybe I could take another class, or it was very clear that this was important to me. And it was something that I needed in my life as a daily activity, or not daily activity, but part of my life. So I was fortunate. I did make a team. I made the team Moonshot. We did our first year and got renewed for our second year. And we're currently in our second year. Yes, maybe. I don't know if time stops on sketch teams. I don't know how this works. But what I do know is what was great was from my break of sketch, going back to sketches, coming back to sketch, I did have a new perspective. I did have experiences. I did have a new sense of humor. And that's kind of cool. I mean, not to say that 20-year-old me didn't have a sense of humor. I'm sure I did, but it probably involved more farts, and I was going to say sex stuff, but I still think sex stuff is funny. Like, if you know the movie True Lies, when Jamie Lee Curtis is on the pole and she does like that roll and then just falls, Every time every time makes me laugh. In fact, anytime there is a pole in a bedroom, I try to recreate that scene for my husband. I think I've done it like once successfully. We don't have a lot of posts. There's not a lot of posts in the beds in California, I guess, now that I think about it. But man, I feel like this is all derivative, all come to a point of, yes, I am missing sketch and I'm missing comedy and I'm missing the stage. And and you might be too. And if so, that's okay. And maybe you're out there still performing in different capacities. I know a lot of people are doing Instagrams and a lot of people are doing Facebook and YouTube. And there's still a lot, there are different ways to perform. I know slowly outdoor comedy shows are coming back, and Zoom comedy, which I haven't done one in terms of trying to do comedy, but I'd love to hear about it. But however you're dealing with this, with your normal, I hope you're doing it happy, and I hope you're doing it healthy, and I hope you're doing it safe. And yeah, that's kind of why I started this show, is so that if you need to talk to somebody, then you can. And I don't have to know you. I'm very nice. I looked over like someone was going to confirm that I am. So yeah, so that's today's episode. It's simply how I started the Pack Theater and how I got here, and why I'm still here is because the Pack Theater has been incredible. I know it has, I know not everyone's experience can be equal to that, because obviously there's a lot of changes going at the Pack Theater. There's an inclusive committee, making sure that everyone is heard equally and everybody feels safe and comfortable. So obviously, the reason why we have those things in place now is because events have occurred that has warranted those type of committees. I know there's a lot of people that care about this theater and care about this community. And it is a community. Comedy is a community. If you do comedy and I promise you're going to look up and go, oh, I know that guy. I did improv with him, or I took a class with him, or I know so-and-so. It really is a community. And it's a lot smaller than you think. Man, is it a lot smaller. One of my favorite things is to watch TV and see people I know on the TV, on a commercial, as a featured, as a starring in a movie. We really are 6 degrees from Kevin Bacon, and I'll prove it. So if you know me, I'm Alli Ramirez. I know Val Curry. I went to college with her. She's an amazing actress. She worked with Kevin Bacon on the TV show The Following. So right off the bat, if you know me, you're 2 degrees away from Kevin Bacon. Small world. I know. Also, if you haven't seen The Following, it's an amazing show. I think it's on, maybe it might be CBS. I know CBS is a little exclusive with their access, but that was a really fun show. Val Curry, amazing actress, amazing person too. Just FYI, went to college with her. Yeah, that's all I have right now. I actually talked longer than I thought I was going to. I wasn't sure. But I will be back next Thursday. I will have Thanksgiving off because maybe I won't. I don't know. I like Thanksgiving. I like Thanksgiving in the sense that it's a weekend where you celebrate with your friends and your family, and you are thankful for them. I don't like pilgrims at my Thanksgiving. Pilgrims have not been invited to my Thanksgivings for a number of years now. I don't even really like turkeys. Like we'll eat turkey, but I don't like to have like turkey decorations, because that's weird. Like I don't put cow decorations up when it's hamburger night, like that's weird. I like pumpkins, and I like fake leaves because I live in Southern California, and I like orange and browns and those type of things, but not turkeys and pilgrims. I'm thinking about it right now. Yeah, I don't like turkeys as decorations. I mean, if like my kids make one with the handprint, that's cute. That's fine, but I'm not gonna go to Michael's and like buy like a giant turkey with a little pilgrim hat. And it's like, no, that's just my opinion. Maybe you feel differently. Maybe I'm sorry. Maybe I've insulted you because you are related to a pilgrim. I apologize. That's your family. And if if your pilgrim uncle is coming to your Thanksgiving, I don't want to make him feel uncomfortable. He's just not allowed at my Thanksgiving. And as for turkeys, again, if you're like super duper turkey decoration, again, that's fine. I don't judge you for that. Okay, I'm just glad we made peace with that. So pilgrim uncle, no. If you decorate Thanksgiving, that's fine. It's again, your new normal, my new normal. Who am I? Who am I to judge? I'm no one to judge. So thank you so much for listening. If you get a chance to watch this live on the Pack Theater Twitch, or if you catch us on YouTube on the Pack Theater YouTube, we have shows 7 nights a week, some starting early as 5 o'clock, going as late as midnight on Friday. We have classes in all different ways. Sketch, stand up, pilot, which is amazing, improv. All these things are here to hone your skills and to keep you growing, keep pushing yourself, because yes, right now we are a little bit quarantined and it looks like productions and the world is slowly opening up, but maybe in some cases slowly closing back down. But it will at one point get to a point where we will act like it's 2019 with caution, I guess, because we don't want to go exactly the way it used to be. You want to evolve. But thank you so much for your time and your energy, and be happy, be healthy, and be safe. I'm Alli Ramirez. This is My New Normal, and I'll see you next week.